Even after ending the story, Gege Akutami manages to find a way to get everybody talking about JJK. With the release of the last volumes of the manga 29 and 30, the epilogue of the story officially dropped a couple of weeks ago. Divided into 4 parts, it focuses on Yuko Ozawa, Panda, Nobara, and Uraume respectively. Keep in mind the volumes have only been released officially in Japan, so this was only available to read in English thanks to fan translations. I'll be getting into each part individually and then give my brief analysis as well as my closing thoughts towards the end. So let's talk about it. With the first epilogue focusing on Yuko Ozawa, we essentially get a glimpse of what things will be looking like for Yuji going forward. Nothing much really happens, but it opens with a flashback that parallels the end of the epilogue, with both Yuji and Yuko recalling what they both like about snow. In present day, they bump into each other back in Sendai, their hometown. Coincidentally, they both went back to take care of their grandparents' houses. Yuji's rocking the Sukuna hairstyle, and Yuko's trying to make conversation by asking how he's holding up pretty much. They both ask stuff they already know, since it looks like Nobara's probably been playing matchmaker. It is worth noting that Sukuna's divine flame is referred to as just an explosion, with no mention of anything else. It starts snowing and the beginning of the epilogue comes full circle. I've always felt that Yuko is the one grounded character who serves to highlight the beauty of Yuji's humanity. Her time in the story is short and fleeting, but if it wasn't already obvious, this epilogue shows that there was purpose to her showing up that one moment before the Shibuya incident. To me, the ending of this epilogue shows that for Yuji, in the real world, the good things eventually do come with being a good person. Yeah, it might sound corny and we all have our own philosophies, but in the context of the story, remember that's been Yuji's whole thing from beginning to end. His empathy, his humanity, his ability to not give up on people and always see their worth no matter who they are. And now, he's finally found peace and is reunited with somebody who can reciprocate that same love and energy he has. I believe he already had that in his peers in Jujutsu High for the most part, but like I said, I believe Yuko Ozawa is the grounded representation of that with an obvious romantic angle. Snow is also revered in Japanese culture and is often associated with purity. When you look at how Yuji is constantly surrounded by spiritual symbolism towards the end of the story, such as the Hamza, the dragonflies, the Jirigarba statue, and now snow, I can't help but admire Akutami's ability to say a lot about Yuji's enlightenment without having to spell it out. Nobara and Megumi do kinda cameo at the end. The translation is kinda all over the place, but it seems to me that they're calling back to that one time Nobara was tripping about Itadori getting in a relationship before she did. But I might be completely off. Moving on, the second epilogue focuses on Panda, being found in a storage room by a pair of siblings. They're confirmed to be Yuta's grandchildren, and what exactly happened to Panda after the events of the main story is revealed. In the year 2035, he became inactive and was registered to the Gojo family's storage, with its ownership being passed to Yuta, the head of the Gojo clan. Even in the year 2080, Panda still moves, as we see him react to being found by Yuta's grandkids. This epilogue is the most interesting to me because there's just so much to unpack. The insane time jump, Yuta confirmed head of the Gojo clan and now a grandpa, as well as Panda just having stopped functioning and being stored away like an artifact. The big time skip gives so much to wonder about, not just in regards to the current status of both the Jujutsu and outside world, but also what the characters we know could be up to, if they're still around. It does seem by the translations that Yuta is still the current head of the Gojo clan. So perhaps Megumi is also still probably head of the Zenin if not dead, and the same with the others, perhaps now higher ups or just retired. One thing is for sure, it can't be denied that Yuta's grandchildren are also definitely Makis, since the Zenin genes are strong in this one, and it is nice that the other has Rika's ring. Makes you wonder if these kids have any curse techniques themselves, and if Panda going offline might have anything to do with Tengen's barriers and whatever happened with that. Next, Nobara's epilogue sees her honoring Gojo by going to meet her mother after he had provided information on where to find her in the letter he left for her, and Nobara's interaction with her mom is probably the most entertaining out of all the epilogues. Turns out Nobara's mother is just a female Toji. She shows zero remorse for leaving her daughter behind and zero interest in trying to make it up to her in any way. You see, it looks like Nobara's mom couldn't live with being a failure in the eyes of her mother, and pretty much had Nobara in hopes that she could be the sorcerer that she couldn't be herself, just to dip and live her own life. She's unapologetic about it, like I said, and actually doubles down talking about how her life is the best, and that it's pitiful that Nobara still hasn't moved on, basically. Kugisaki isn't fazed at all, and actually saw the whole thing coming. which is exactly why she pulled up with her grandma. She knew exactly what she was doing because she was just respecting Gojo's wishes, and ultimately says that she went because she thought she sees something really funny. It ends with a horrifying panel of Kugisaki's grandma towering over the deadbeat mother, as she's scared shitless while Nobara just smiles. This one genuinely made me laugh. Kugisaki really has one of my favorite personalities in the whole series. The way she was serious about paying respects to Gojo and was even rocking the scarf like him was just awesome to see. The fourth and last epilogue is probably my favorite. All four are completely different, and I believe they each also have a different purpose, so it's not like I think one is better than the rest. But there is something to Uraume's origins with Sukuna that once again showcases the beautiful simplicity in Akutami's writing, if that makes sense. Uraume was a young orphan who constantly killed everyone around him due to being unable to control his CT. Such was the case with his own parents and when Sukuna finds him. Sukuna had just accidentally crushed his ice house recently, so he literally takes Uraume in as his new freezer. It is pretty funny considering fans in the community have been memeing about this since forever. Sukuna doesn't waste any time, and as soon as he sees what the young Uraume is capable of, he asks him if he can butcher humans. Uraume's surprised and kind of naive expression says it all, as he doesn't really know what to respond in his reaction. Back then, Uraume asked himself the same question he now asks Sukuna as they walk together through the afterlife. How come Sukuna never got cold standing by Uraume's side? Sukuna answers by saying it goes both ways. How did Uraume not get cold standing by his side? And this is what I mean by beautiful simplicity. This might not be some super profound message that keeps you up at night, but it's human. It speaks to how we might all carry something within us that we're not aware of. I truly believe this epilogue confirms that for Sukuna, that would be love. See, even for him, love isn't worthless. It's obvious that the word cold is used with a double meaning. For Uraume, it's not too hard to read into how not getting cold for him means staying loyal, devoted to the person who gave him something to live for, a purpose, and a chance at life until the very end. You'd think I was talking about Yuji and not the King of Curses. For Sukuna, obviously he didn't get cold in the literal sense because he was the strongest. But beyond that, there's a reciprocated appreciation, respect, and acknowledgement towards Uraume from his part. A soft side only revealed to us after his defeat. A side of himself Sukuna never showed to anyone else, and I can't help but feel that that's what makes this epilogue special. I've talked many times on this channel about the themes of love, strength, and how the real meaning behind it all is dissected throughout the story of JJK. If the ending of JJK didn't already, this epilogue proves that, at its peak, strength and love really go hand in hand. I did try to see if I could find a certain through line that was followed from the first epilogue to the last that told something cohesive throughout, but nothing really spoke to me like that. Instead, what I noticed was that while Nobara's epilogue felt like bringing proper closure to her character and her respect to Gojo to make up for her absence in the second half of the story, and Panda seemed to hint at what the future of Jujutsu Kaisen could look like, Ozawa's and Uraume's, the first and last epilogue, demonstrate how at their core, when stripped of everything else, Yuji and Sukuna might not be all that different. And we see that from the perspective of the people they've impacted and inspired the most in similar ways. For me, that in itself and the way it's handled is just cinema, and I can never be convinced otherwise. I won't get into it too much, but also Yuji's grandpa Wasuke, not Jin, was the one confirmed to be Sukuna's reincarnated twin in one of the volume notes. To me, this is just what made the most sense from the beginning, as it explains their similarities both physical and personality-wise. When it comes to Kenjaku's plan, it also makes perfect sense that he could never get close to Wasuke, so he had to settle with his son. However, Wasuke's final words to Yuji about helping others and not dying alone now hit on a whole nother level, and the story is only better because of it. Gege Akutami had some final words with the release of the epilogue and the last 2 volumes. He was pretty hard on himself and his work, and admitted to being self-aware of what he perceived were his flaws as a writer. But he said he was motivated to get better and was thankful to everyone and anyone who read JJK at some point. His comments are a lot more nuanced, so I do recommend you pause and take the time to read it for yourself if you haven't already. All I have to say is sincerely, thank you to Gege Akutami for writing a story that has changed my life in ways few could understand, and to you guys for being here, listening to what I have to say and being a part of the JJK community. Whether you're a reader, a fan artist, a translator, a content creator, or a viewer, thank you. I appreciate you sticking around till the end. What do you think about the epilogue of Jujutsu Kaisen? Leave your thoughts in the comments and check out the channel for more content. Much love and take care. Peace.